Hi, everybody. I'm Lynn Petrak, Senior Editor at Progressive Grocer, and welcome to Top Women in Grocery. It's a podcast focused on the trends, topics, and interests that move women forward in our amazing industry. We spotlight extraordinary women in our industry who have successful careers and interesting lives and really give back to their organizations, their communities, and pretty much everyone around it, which is why we love this podcast. And today, I'm so excited to be talking with Lynette Ackley, Group Vice President, Merchandising, Health and Beauty, Household Essentials, and Hardlines for Meijer. Welcome, Lynette.
Thanks so much, Lynn. I'm so happy to be here.
We are too. And this is a big day on the Twig podcast because you are our 2024 Trailblazer winner, for one thing.
Which I'm so excited and honored by. I can't wait. It's going to be a great time in Florida.
It really is. We can't wait to hear what, your insights and your thoughts and your inspiration you're going to share with the attendees there. And also, you are our first ever repeat guest on the Twig podcast.
Wow. Podcasts still got to get used to all of these podcasts since COVID.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to read a little bit of your bio so our viewers and listeners are familiar with you. Lynette, you were named Group VP of Health, Beauty, Household Essentials, and Hardlines at Meijer in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is not far from my home office in 2023. She worked for Meijer since 2011 in various roles, including Director of Beauty and Cosmetics within Drugstore Division in 2011 and VP of Health, Beauty, and Baby Division in 2015 and VP of the Fresh Foods Division in 2020. She's responsible for leading a team of more than 160 team members in the merchandising, marketing, digital strategies, and store experience for her divisions, as well as full P&L responsibility to deliver profitable sales growth across the retailer's 265 plus store locations and formats. We're going to get into this in a little bit, but a core passion for Lynette is talent development, mentoring, and career pathing those in her span of care. Prior to joining Meijer, she spent 6 years at Target Corporation, Minneapolis, in various merchandising roles, as well as 5 years in Morgan Stanley in Washington, D.C., and the private client group division as marketing manager and registered financial advisor. She received her MBA in marketing from IU, Indiana University in Bloomington, and her Bachelor of Arts in Marketing and Management from Manchester College in North Manchester, Indiana. She's married and is the proud mother of 2 daughters. So thanks again for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're going to get right into it. I think I mentioned you're the first repeat guest. You joined us in 2022. I know that's only been 2 years, but that's dog years in the industry now.
It's so true.
So what do you think's changed at Meijer in the industry and in your role since then?
Sure. I think that's what you have to love about being in the retail industry. 2 years doesn't seem like long, but I feel like everything has changed.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about our company, we're so excited to be celebrating our 90th year anniversary this year. And in the past 2 years, we also opened a new format, our Meijer Grocery format. So that's a big food first format and infrastructure that really supports our supercenter. So that was a huge thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about the industry, every day something's changing in the industry. The hurricanes and port strikes to just health and wellness needs of the consumer. And I would say the customers are more educated than ever with social media and companies' retail media networks. So I feel like we know our customer better than ever, which is exciting. For myself personally, a lot of things have changed as well because when I was in this role 2 years ago, on this one podcast, I was leading our fresh foods division.
Mm-hmm.
So think about the produce, the bakery, the deli, the meat businesses, so core to all of our customers' food needs. And then I switched over about a year and a half back to this health and beauty, hard lines, household essentials. So I go from a business that's just in time bananas, or figuring out how bananas with a 2-day shelf life, to a business now that we are planning Halloween 2025 and Halloween hasn't even happened. And so it's what I've always loved about my years in retail is there's always a new challenge. There's a new business to learn, and it keeps it so interesting. So everything's changing. I can't imagine what will be 2 years from now if I come back again.
We'll have you back again. In my Meijer, it's fun. Well, I'm sure it's like a lot of Meijers. My Meijer in Holland, one side is the health and beauty, and the other side's produce, and I visit both sides. But I always do go over to kind of the wellness, the health, and the beauty first because I feel like it's my little self-care time, and it's so much discovery. So, you've done such great work there, and I think it's a destination.
Well, I think in the social media trends, I have a 9 and 12-year-old daughters, and
Okay.
so they are obsessed.
Yeah.
They, I feel like, know more about some of the beauty trends than I do running this business because they get it all from
Okay.
everywhere, and it's so fun to see this next generation come up and see all of the wellness needs. They're going to have the
Mhm.
best skin, better than all of us. They're going to
No
age so
kidding.
well.
No kidding. And hair. I was just in there getting my daughter's
Exactly.
birthday present for some volumizer that you had there on your shelf.
Yep.
So thank you for
Yep.
going through on that. So that's, but I think that absolutely is such a dynamic category. And
Hmm.
one thing you talked about last time, Lynette, and one thing you'll probably touch on in your Trailblazer speech is mentorship. It's so
Hmm.
huge for you, and it can be so important across any function of the business, whether it's over in fresh or over in hard lines and health and beauty. And it's how do you take what you learned from what people taught you through each of your roles, and
Yep.
how are you building on that now, kind of
Yeah.
across your categories in the business?
Mentorship is near and dear to me. I think as you continue to grow in these leadership roles, less of what I do is about the product and the
Mm-hmm.
way the stores are, and it's really all about the people. That is the biggest part of my role is
Mm-hmm.
helping develop and encourage the people in my span of care. I have been so fortunate over my long career to have just these pivotal, memorable mentors along the way that helped me get to that next level. And I always go back and tell the story of my very first one. Right out of undergrad, I was working at Morgan Stanley in Washington, D.C. I'd moved there from Indiana, where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Big city. She and I worked for our branch sales manager. She was one of the only female leaders on the branch leadership team in the financial services industry, which is a pretty male dominated
Yeah,
industry, especially, 25 years ago.
in
And she just
DC.
took me
Mm-hmm.
under her wing. She really listened. She wanted to know what I wanted to do. She gave me roles and opportunities and really gave me that sort of seat at the table that now we talk about so much.
Yeah.
I remember just being so inspired by her courage and her confidence in this industry. And so really what I focus on in my role now is how do I intentionally empower the people on my team by listening very clearly to what they want, by
Mm-hmm.
pushing them, sometimes pulling them up to the table even before they're not ready, because I believe in them and helping them figure out what they want to do. And so I don't think any of us could be in the roles that we're in without the support of others. So that's really a big piece and the most fun part about my job, honestly.
Oh, I bet. And I would think, but maybe not 100% on this. Do you have a lot of young people working with
We
you?
have
I
a
would think.
ton.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We have, the 160 plus people in my area. We have people right out of undergrad in our
Okay.
business analyst role. But
Mm-hmm.
then, being a great family company, we have people that have been here 30, 40, 50
Yeah.
years. And
Right.
so it's a wide range of demographics, of backgrounds and experiences. And so really what we're trying to do is figuring out what are each of their goals and how can they be best at their role. And then the beauty of retail is, merchandising is our core, but there's
Mm-hmm.
so many different areas in the company that bring our stores to life for our customer. So a lot of it is helping understand from each of our people, where is their passion? It could be in buying, it could be in marketing, it could be on the
Mm-hmm.
digital side. So where can they best contribute to the company and grow? So it's a big piece of what I do. Less about the product, although I love the
Mm-hmm.
product. I'm still a merchant at heart,
Of course.
but much more about finding the right people and then helping them be successful.
And it's so ingrained in Meyer's history. I got a chance to
Hmm.
visit your history center a few years
Oh
ago, and
yeah.
you just see this in the culture, this mentorship, and you hear Rick Keys, your CEO, talk
Hmm.
about it, who mentored him. So
Hmm.
it's super ingrained in what you do.
Yeah, our Heritage Center is awesome. It's amazing. It's so neat that you got a chance to see it. I think it's
Yeah.
a little known fact that we have historians on as
Yeah.
part of the Meijer team members that manage all of the history of the stores and the family. And so you get to go through tours, and they have different anniversaries that they celebrate, like our 90th this year. And so, what I do think is amazing is that mentorship, and then especially that female leadership.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
starts from the very beginning with our founding family, with Hendrik and his wife. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really continued on throughout the years in terms of the family being so ingrained in the business, and you still see them here each day, being a third generation family run
Mm-hmm.
company. It's a really, really neat experience.
And when you think about 90 years ago, that was, in the midst of the Great Depression. So
Hmm.
the same kinds of things drive the business now. We're so different, obviously, even from 2 years ago, much less 90. But you have to learn to adjust, but maintain that culture. And you've done that so
Right.
well.
And I think what you mentioned it earlier, my Meijer, what I love, I grew up with Meijer in
Mhm.
Northeast Indiana. And so many people have so many stories of seeing Fred in the stores. And his signature thing was handing out these purple cow ice cream cards for
Oh,
a free
cool.
scoop of ice cream. And so
Okay.
it's just amazing as you walk, as you go through the stores and you interact with the team members and the vendors and the
Hmm.
community. And they have this story of when Fred came to the store, this story when Hank today, still our chairman, when he was
Yeah.
in the store, he helped me out and I didn't even know who it was till later. I
Hmm.
think that's so amazing to have that sort of family environment.
Well, and then you have to have with my 4 kids, you had to have them take the ride on the horse.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like,
Sandy the pony,
that's
still a
right.
penny. I
That's
know that
right.
is, and there is one in the Heritage Center too.
Okay. Okay. It's just, but it's just what a beautiful history. So,
Yeah.
um, and also throughout your history, you've supported suppliers kind of across the board, in the
Hmm.
beginning local and now from all over the place. And you really do. One thing we write about pretty frequently is about how you foster innovation in product assortment. You support
Yep.
local brands. You're probably bringing some new brands in, and I saw a bunch of the local brands when I was at the smaller format stores.
Hmm.
So, how is that also part of what you specifically do in a broader sense? What Meyer
Absolutely.
likes to do?
Yes, I think having our stores represent the diverse set of customers in our community really all plays into our mission, which is enriching lives in the communities we serve. And we want our stores, we want our team members, we want our product to be reflective of the communities we're in. And so that comes to life, I'd say, in a couple different ways. And that's the fun part as merchants, as we get to partner to find the right items. And so we find these suppliers and these items first through our stores and our customers. We have a
Mhm.
great line of communication where customers can tell and submit items to the stores and they submit them back to our merchant team. We also have a whole team here at the corporate headquarters that's focused on identifying and onboarding local and diverse suppliers. And so
Mhm.
there's a group there. And then lastly, I'd say our buyers, we tend to go to a lot of different trade shows and different business organizations to also identify them because we want to be a part of that community we're in. But really, it all starts with the customer, understanding the customer, what are their needs, what are their wants, and then how can we serve them. And so it gets a little complex at times, to have a different assortment in every store, but that's exactly what, if it's right for our customers, then that's what we're going to figure out. And that's the fun part, especially of meeting some of these local suppliers that can only be in one or two stores, but the pride and joy that they have is just, it's awesome. It's so fun to see.
Well, and I'll tell you, I was at, I think, is it the Noblesville store that opened a few
Mm-hmm.
months ago? I was
Yep.
talking to a couple of those suppliers,
Yep.
and one of them, I was talking about how they started their brand. And I love talking to food entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them says to me, I cannot believe we're in Meijer.
Yeah. I know. And it's so neat when you hear their stories, which is why we do have an entire team for local and diverse suppliers to help onboard them and show them how does EDI and how do they ship and labeling and regulatory, because we want to help lift up the people in the communities. And those are the fun stories, especially for the customers in those stores.
Absolutely, absolutely. And pivoting here back to your Trailblazer Award, we're so excited to have
Yeah.
you at our event. So I just kind of was curious to you, what's the word Trailblazer mean to you? And is it different than maybe when you started your career versus maybe what it means now, especially to women
Yeah.
in our industry?
Gosh, that's such a great question. First, I'm so honored. I'm so humbled by this award. I have been fortunate to be at a couple of the top women in grocery events, and it's always the most inspiring part of the night is to hear the trailblazers. And I still sometimes can't believe I'm going to be up there myself this time. And so I'm really excited, though, to have a lot of our Meijer team members at the event as well
Yeah.
that are being recognized because it really is all about a team. And I think that's a great question. I would say if I reflect on my career, early in my career, I really thought a trailblazer is it's that person that's out front of everyone, that's leading the way, that has
Mhm.
courage and boldness and confidence and doesn't need anyone and they're out there blazing that trail for everyone. as I've gone through my career and you think about all these different mentorships and these pivotal moments that I've had, I realize now if I think of myself as a trailblazer that maybe I have the voice and I'm a little out front, but right with me is a whole group of people, a
I love that.
team of support. And
Hmm.
so I'm not out there on my own. I'm there maybe pushing the way forward, maybe pulling some, but I'm pulling
Hmm.
them with me. And so I think that's what's been so um, just humbling about this award. It's me. It's not an award for me. It's an award for the wonderful team and the support that I have here. And it makes you really think about blazing trails is not just something you do alone. It's something that you do with others.
I love that, and it's taking advantage of opportunities, like you said, pulling others along with you.
Yeah.
And I think it has changed because you don't hear that the term glass ceiling as much as we did maybe or
Mm,
when I started my career. And I
right.
think so maybe that's also been part of the subtle shift is we can be out front, but we can focus more collectively. Think
Right.
about
And we
that.
can bring people with
Mhm.
us. It's not just being out front on our own anymore so much. It's such a community, which is why the event in Florida is such a wonderful community event to meet so many people. And I think uh, that's the part I'm happy to represent Meyer, but it's an award for all of us and all of my team. I truly believe.
And you have quite, your winner span categories, as a lot of companies do
Hmm.
this year. We have store managers and senior level executives and rising stars. So you do see it kind of across the industry. Do you see longevity in careers the way it has been in the past in our industry too, Lynette?
Yeah, I do. And I think, again, back to our family company, I think it's so fascinating. I have people on my team that one of our admins is celebrated her 47th year anniversary here last
Wow.
week. And so to be part of a company where you have people that have 30, 40, 50-year anniversaries with the
Remarkable.
same private company, I
Hmm.
think that that is really just inspiring. And that's what helps me bring in, I think, for the new people coming out of college and coming into a company with that sort of stability, it really shows
Hmm.
this is a place where you can absolutely have longevity as a career. And then retail itself, you're always being new challenges, new
Exactly.
opportunities, new trends. So it's
Hmm.
never boring. This is such a fascinating job.
And it's still growing. So I would imagine 2025 you've got some more growth plans, whether it's in the smaller
Absolutely.
format stores where you always can't wait to hear some of your new plans for new stores and those kinds of things and new markets.
Yep.
It's exciting. And so we'd love to also ask guests on our podcast what's in their shopping cart. So
Mm.
Lynette, if there's something, maybe it's in a weekend, maybe it's a weekday. What are some things
Yeah.
from your own stores that are in your cart?
Well, I think if you ask my family, grocery shopping is my favorite passion. I am a total foodie at heart.
I love it.
My husband and my daughters know wherever we're vacationing, I am going to make us go into the local grocery store just to see what kinds of items they have. It's fascinating to me. I would
Yeah.
choose food any day over clothing. So I do all the grocery shopping for our house, and I love to cook when I have time. So I was trying to think about what are some of my favorites. What
Mhm.
I love about Myers, we have amazing own brands. So
Yeah.
definitely, if you think of like a nice week, Friday night dinner, it's going to be a certified Angus beef ribeye steak. We're
Ooh,
big on the
yes, please.
smoking. We got the
Mhm.
smoking and the grilling down, and our beef is the best you can find. Definitely some fresh produce and vegetables, just whatever's in season. We source so much from local farmers, and
Mhm.
after running the fresh foods division, I have a whole new appreciation for the local farmers in our 6 states. And then, of course, something sweet. So, also ran the bakery area. So, some of our Fredericks cakes and bar cakes are my favorite. The tiramisu is a top
Oh,
one.
okay, try
And
that.
then, if you ever need a little sweet treat for your day, my team knows the Fredericks. Blood orange caramels are my absolute favorite. You have to try them. I always
Okay.
have a bag in my desk for that late afternoon pick me up when you need just a little sweet treat to keep you
Yeah.
going through the day. It is absolutely my favorite. We have some really neat Frederick's candies in the line.
Well, and that packaging is kind of show-stopping packaging
Oh
because
my
I've been
goodness.
in that aisle and I have seen those candy. I have not seen blood orange. I'm going to look for that,
You
but
got to try
it
the blood
really
orange
is.
caramels.
I
It's
will.
such a neat, and so I think being a retailer, we also get this exciting piece of developing our own brands and developing our own items, and especially in the foods area, they have come up with some really cool lines that they do in Fredericks,
Mhm.
expanded into the bakery and deli, and then in our area, we still get to do it with vitamins and We've got new pet food items. And so the
Mhm.
own brand piece of retail is also a lot of fun, but definitely a good steak and some good dessert. That's going to always be in my cart each
Oh,
week.
that sounds good. I'm gonna have to definitely have to try those blood orange caramels now.
Yes, they're the
And
best.
apparel too. Like it's funny because we see the change of the season. Like
Oh, yeah.
August. I'm like, it's flannel season because Meijer has the flannels out.
Yes. Oh,
It's like,
they do such a wonderful job. My girls love the different lines that
mhm.
Annette and our team in Soft Lines, they've done an amazing job there. And of course, your Halloween decorations now
That's right.
because I have the seasonal team. So you got to get out there and get ready for the holiday.
And you probably talk about local farmers. You probably get a lot of those pumpkins from the Midwest and maybe
We do.
even North Michigan. You do have a lot of
Absolutely.
those.
I think a
Okay.
lot in Ohio, especially, but all
Mhm.
over. We source almost all of our produce locally that you can outside of obviously like bananas and
Yeah, yeah.
tropical plants and fruits.
I love it. Well, and you mentioned you're already working on 2025 for kind
Yeah,
of your plans, and it's hard to believe it's going to be the midpoint of the decade. It's hard to believe
I
it'll be
know.
5 years after COVID. It's kind of wild to think about that.
It really is. It goes so fast. But like I said, it's always changing. It's always something fun, something new. That's what keeps it exciting every day.
Exactly, and you've got that history to keep building on for your next
Mhm.
90.
Exactly. That's our goal.
Well, we will see you at our gala. We will be talking with you again on our podcast of that, I'm sure. So we were so delighted that you could join us today, Lynette.
Thank you so much.
And finally, if you have an idea for a Twig podcast topic, we want to hear from you. So feel free to email me at lptrack@ensembleiq.com. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next time. Have a great day.